Because like I had a yarn with Troy one time. We hadn't caught up in years, and I liked the way he and what he said to me pretty much stuck with me for a long time, and it sort of changed my perspective of like, man, that's but this is straight Pasifika, right? Like it's not ingrained in us to reach to become bosses, eh? Like Troy always touched on, fuck, they poached our people from the islands, brought us here. When they put us in factories, they never told us that you could run the factory.
Yeah.
They never told us that. They just wanted us to just be a minimum, be a team leader,
Yeah.
a production manager, and that was it, you know? So to hear that from him, and then see you doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
and we're stalking it and still keeping it alive, it's like, fuck, that's powerful in itself, you know?
Yeah, and I've had some awesome feedback, like that. And like I haven't really thought about how, I'm sure there's a lot of brothers, PI brothers and, Māori and PI that are, that are either entrepreneurs or make good entrepreneurs. And yeah, one of the things that I use, is when I'm dealing with people, is truly listening, caring, being humble, sort of type thing, and letting them know, the whole package. So a little bit of that. And I think, there's probably a few, there's probably a lot more Pacific Island brothers, whether they don't know how to do it or not, or how to get into it, or get their passion out there and actually make it work. Whether, I'm not too sure what's holding them back. Other than, to capital, to get a business or an idea up and running, that's probably a huge thing. But then you got to dig deep somewhere, like this hasn't fallen on my lap and still have sleepless nights sort of type things. But yeah, you just got to work through it and have a tried process that you've tried yourself and sticking to it, you're allowed to panic and things like that, or you can sort of, what do you call it? I mean, last couple of years was sort of, was semi-tough. But again, being in season, all I sort of keep saying to myself, winter comes around every year. Just hang in there. It's going to come around. Everybody, all the trades, everything was all question marks sort of type thing. A lot of projects being put on hold. But then, boom, it gets cold.
So obviously that was a big problem with COVID for a lot of businesses. A lot of businesses shut down, and affected your business too. But how did you keep on going? How did you go through those 2 years we had of lockdowns?
Yeah, well, probably the main thing is I stopped listening to, to the news and to media, and sort of just zoned in again to what I do well and what we do well and what purpose people see us for. There was a lot of panic. There was, even in our whole industry, cost of steel and all these things going up, and forecast wasn't looking too great. But for me, pressure, like, you need it, sort of type thing. It keeps you on your toes, sort of type thing, And if there isn't any, like, I've gone to a habit of creating pressure, just to keep in front. But to keep you on your toes, sort of type thing. If you do sort of like get comfortable, you sort of tend to get more and more and more comfortable, and then you start missing out these little, processes and details and that. And then when you're back into the game again, putting yourself in the customer's shoes when they're talking to you, they'll know that you've sort of dropped your game sort of a little bit. But yeah, I mean, there was a few, things that helped, with the, the government. They were doing their subsidies and things like that. But the added pressure I did on that one there, rather than doing the the minimum, payment, I upped it, and made sure they either were getting paid a minimum of 80% of our wages still, even though work wasn't coming through. I went and we got our ticket to be essential workers. And so we were essential workers, and that was working with our association and saying, man, we're still essential, So we got all our tickets, we made that noise, got all the other shops and stuff, and made sure that, we were still able to work as essential workers. And then number 2 was letting everyone else know, that we were in lockdown and stuff like this. We're essential workers still. The winter's coming or winter's going, we're in the middle of winter. But these are the processes. So I was trying to understand the situation for, at the time, even though there was a lot of... I did sit back a couple of times thinking, gee, sure, just chill and just let this blow over. But blowing over, we didn't know how long it was going to take. So to keep my mind busy was like, nah, we're going to carry on legally, in legal ways. So we got our tickets to keep working, essential workers, and then we just made some noise, bombarded, radio, newspaper, and things like that.
Because
and we were able to keep working.
It was products that had to do with well-being, people's survival and well-being, like fridges, and trades can go out and fix like toilets.
That's right.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
And with your heating, obviously that's a...
Yeah, but it wasn't on that list initially.
Oh, how come?
I don't know. Yeah, I think...
I would have thought it would be.
Yeah.
It's like people need heating.
It came a couple of weeks after, they dished out the trades. And then others sort of came on board. So we went through that. And then on top of that, we carried on through, with Cowboys BBQ Boys. We just kept that going. Dr. Flue sort of type thing. But yeah, it's just, it depends on, what do you call it? Not passionate, but, there's a reason why they were working. We've got families to look after, you've got bills to pay sort of type thing. And the moment that you sort of see sort of barriers, that could probably question mark, and a lot of people lost their jobs, and a lot of people, a lot of businesses closed and still, still suffering. That was sort of what, just kept the, the engine going sort of type thing, was trying not to think that could possibly happen and how to go about sort of, carrying it through. Yeah, unfortunately we came out the other end. And here we are, just trying to get bigger. Do more.